In the year 2018, Naoya Inoue was rapidly transforming into a force of nature unlike anything the bantamweight division had seen before. Competing in the prestigious World Boxing Super Series, the Japanese fighter was not just collecting belts, he was delivering knockout performances that echoed across the globe. His rise felt like the surge of a wave machine, each win crashing harder than the last, sending tremors throughout the boxing world and generating hype that couldn't be ignored. What made Inoue's ascent even more compelling wasn't just his knockout power, though that was certainly a spectacle in itself. It was how methodically he dismantled opponents, men who were not only champions in their own right, but had also never tasted defeat until they stepped into the ring with him. One of these unfortunate souls was Jamie McDonnell, an undefeated champion who entered the ring brimming with confidence and left it humbled and broken. His trash talk in the lead-up to the fight turned into regret, as Inoue wasted no time sending him to the canvas, reminding everyone why his nickname, the Monster, was more than just a clever marketing gimmick. Born in Kanagawa, Japan, Naoya shared the boxing spotlight with his brother Takuma, who was also carving a name for himself in the sport. Together, the Inoue brothers lit up arenas and sent fans into frenzies with their performances. But Naoya stood out even in such an impressive household. He was quickly becoming a transcendent figure, one who appealed not only to hardcore boxing fans but also to casual observers drawn in by his mix of charisma and savagery inside the ropes. That aura of invincibility only grew stronger as he accumulated title after title, defending them not with caution, but with aggression and flair. He was a showman in the ring, but he also carried the aura of a traditional warrior, disciplined, focused, and dangerous. One of his most notable early victims was Omar Narvaez, a junior bantamweight champion who had gone an entire decade without a loss. Inoue's decisive destruction of Narvaez was a statement win that turned heads around the boxing world. It wasn't just that he won. It was the way he won that made people realize they were witnessing something special. Inoue wasn't simply beating good fighters. He was destroying men who had been considered untouchable for years. The buzz around Inoue only intensified as he set his sights on a new challenge, Nonito Donaire. The Filipino Flash, as he was known, was no ordinary opponent. A future Hall of Famer and one of the most devastating punchers of his generation, Donaire had built his legacy on obliterating young challengers with a precision that bordered on cruel. He may have been older and less agile than in his prime, but his timing, power, and veteran instincts made him a nightmare for anyone who stepped into the ring with him. If Inoue wanted to continue his ascent to greatness, he would need to go through Donaire, a fighter many viewed as the final boss in the bantamweight division. When the two men met in November 2019, expectations were sky high. This wasn't just a title fight. It was a generational clash between two legends in different stages of their careers. Adding more emotion to the night, Naoya's brother Takuma had suffered the first loss of his career just minutes before Inoue was scheduled to fight, losing his bantamweight title. Rather than let the moment rattle him, Naoya channeled that disappointment into a deeper determination. The result was one of the most emotionally charged and physically brutal fights in recent memory. From the opening bell, it was clear that neither man had any intention of backing down. Inoue fought with his signature intensity, while Donaire met fire with fire. In the second round, Donaire landed a thunderous shot that fractured Inoue's orbital bone, a serious injury that would have made most fighters retreat or even quit. But Inoue didn't just fight through the pain. He adjusted, evolved, and showed the world that he was more than just a knockout artist. He had grit, adaptability, and a champion's heart. Round after round, the two warriors exchanged blows with neither giving an inch. In round 9, Donaire landed a counterpunch that hit Inoue flush on the chin, rocking him more visibly than any opponent ever had. It was a rare moment of vulnerability for the Japanese phenom, but even then his first instinct was defensive awareness, slipping away from danger, readying himself for the inevitable follow-up. That moment showcased his ring IQ, proving that his talent extended beyond brute force. By the 11th round, the momentum had shifted decisively in Inoue's favor. He delivered a devastating left hook to Donaire's body, a shot so perfectly place that it left the Filipino veteran gasping and staggering. Though Donaire managed to beat the count, the damage had been done. He would later be taken to the hospital as a precaution, a testament to how punishing the bout had been. Yet he lasted all 12 rounds, becoming one of the few fighters to go the distance with Inoue and survive. When the final bell rang, Inoue was awarded a unanimous decision. The fight had lived up to the hype and then some. It was awarded Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year and widely regarded as one of the most thrilling bantamweight bouts of all time. Inoue had unified the division with 3 of the 4 belts and proven that he could overcome adversity as well as deliver knockouts. Donaire, for his part, earned widespread respect for his toughness and sportsmanship. It was a true passing of the torch moment, one that honored the past while embracing the future. Despite the loss, Donaire's career wasn't over. He shocked the boxing world by returning to the ring and becoming a world champion again, defeating younger fighters to become the oldest bantamweight title holder in history. His perseverance was admired by fans around the globe and cemented his place as one of the sport's enduring icons. But even with all his accolades, Donaire remained haunted by the Inoue fight. He believed he had glimpsed a weakness in Inoue during their first battle and convinced himself that a rematch would yield a different outcome. That rematch came in June 2022, 3 years after their first encounter. This time, however, Inoue was not just fighting to defend his titles. He was on a mission to become undisputed in the division. And unlike their first meeting, where both fighters traded rounds and momentum, the second bout was all Inoue. From the very beginning, he established control with crisp jabs and perfectly timed right hands. Donaire, now older and perhaps less battle-ready, struggled to keep up. In the second round, Inoue unleashed a brutal combination that included a quick right to the temple and a flurry of hooks that sent Donaire to the canvas. It was a spectacular display of speed, precision, and power, the kind of sequence that only a generational talent can deliver. The fight was over in just 2 rounds, a stunning end to what many thought would be another drawn-out war. Inoue had evolved since their first meeting. He was now faster, sharper, and even more ruthless. After the bout, Donaire graciously acknowledged that Inoue was the best fighter he had ever faced. It was a moment of humility and respect from one legend to another. He admitted that maybe, if he had faced Inoue in his prime, the outcome might have been different, but even that was uncertain. What was undeniable was that Naoya Inoue had now conquered the bantamweight division in its entirety, becoming one of only 2 men in boxing history, alongside Terence Crawford, to be undisputed champions in 2 different weight classes during the 4-belt era. Inoue's legacy was now etched into boxing history. After dominating bantamweight, he set his sights on the super bantamweight division and, unsurprisingly, continued his reign of terror. His ability to carry power through multiple divisions, combined with his technical mastery, placed him firmly in the conversation for the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Critics who had once dismissed him for being from a region often overlooked in global boxing circles were now forced to acknowledge his greatness. He didn't just defeat opponents, he dismantled them, often in ways that redefined the ceiling of what was possible in his weight class. Boxing fans around the world have watched Inoue's journey with awe. From his early days knocking out champions in the lower weights to his dominance in global tournaments and his brutal clashes with elite-level fighters, Inoue has proven time and again that he is not a product of hype. He is the real deal, an all-time great in the making, if not already one. What makes his rise even more satisfying is the way he has carried himself. Humble, respectful, and singularly focused on greatness. The rivalry with Donaire, in particular, will be remembered as a defining chapter in his story. Their first fight was an epic that revealed both men's greatness, while the rematch served as a chilling reminder of just how far ahead Inoue had pulled in the race. For Donaire, the rivalry marked a twilight chapter filled with honor and resilience. For Inoue, it was a springboard into immortality. As he continues to move through the divisions collecting belts and accolades, fans and pundits alike can only marvel at the spectacle. Naoya Inoue is a rare talent, perhaps once in a generation, and his path of destruction through weight classes is not just a display of dominance, but a living testament to what happens when raw power meets refined skill and unbreakable will. Boxing has always had its legends, but in the modern era, Inoue stands apart. He doesn't need hype or controversy to sell fights. All he needs is a pair of gloves, a canvas, and an opponent brave enough to step inside with him. And every time he does, the world watches, because they know they are witnessing history in the making.